show me how to play your lap organ someday?
Sure, honey. Like my ma showed me, and like her ma showed her, and her ma before that.
Sure is old, ain't it?
Nigh on to 200 years.
Granny, reckon you can whop up a mess of spring tonic for old Duke and me? We is feeling like the hindquarters of bad luck.
I know what'll trick old Duke up. Give it to him, Granny?
If he wants it.
Of course he wants it, don't you, Duke? Look at here, Duke. Look at this nice bone. Oh, he must be sick.
Well, ain't exactly sick, Ellie Mae. We just both feeling ornery, dragged out, don't give two shucks for nothing. Granny, reckon you could brew up some of that tonic?
Sure. I could brew up a pot of Choctaw root, some cherry bark bitters, some red clover blossoms and sassafras. But I ain't gonna do it.
Why not?
'Cause that won't help what's ailing you and Duke.
What do you reckon we got?
Ellie Mae, you go on outside. I want to talk to your pa.
Yes, Granny.
It ain't what you got. It's what you ain't got that's ailing you.
Well, what is it we ain't got?
Now, I could tell you in 3 words. Female company.
Female company. Got a house full of females. You, Ellie Mae, Pearl.
I ain't talking about female kinfolks.
Granny, is you suggest that you want... Granny, me and Duke is too old for that courting and sparking nonsense.
You ain't half too old. And a fine figure of a man, too. A heap lot better than them slick-haired, shiny-shoed, sweet-smelling city dudes.
Talking plumb silly. You gonna make a tonic or ain't you?
I ain't.
Come on, Duke. Let's just go hunting. Let me get our blood stirred up.
Depends on what you hunt.
How'd you like to treat a bobcat?
See?
Yeah, that's all right. We get out in the woods, get to smelling bobcat tracks. Reckon you get the idea?
Well, if you want to get the idea, you go next door to the Drysdales and smell some orange blossoms. I think they're getting ready for a wedding.
Drysdale? Wonder who's getting hitched.
I don't know. Must be some kin of Miss Drysdale's. She's been frolicating around like a chicken in the corn crib.
Oh, happy day. Greetings, all. Mrs. Drysdale.
Margaret, I've asked you not to barge in here while I'm working.
Oh, pish posh. What's more important than our darling getting married?
Sonny's getting married?
Oh, no, dear. Claude is getting married. Congratulations, Claude.
Margaret, dogs do not get married, they mate.
Milburn, don't be crude. I prefer to consider Claude and his beautiful Parisian bride as entering wedlock.
Parisian bride?
Darling, I told you last week I was having a bride for Claude flown in from Paris. Really, Milburn, you don't listen. All you think about is your silly old bag.
Forgive me, dear. Congratulations, Claude.
Be careful, his nail polish may not be dry. He's just come from the poodle parlor. He had a clip and a manicure and a dye job.
I thought he was a different color.
Becoming, isn't it? And so natural. Only him's hairdresser knows for sure. Oh, Miss Hathaway, I'll need you today.
Oh, what for? A bridesmaid?
Oh, of course not, Milburn. I'll need her as an interpreter. You see, Mademoiselle Denise speaks almost no English.
Very few poodles do.
Really, Milburn, you just don't pay attention. Mademoiselle Denise is the owner of Claude's bride-to-be. She's flying her here personally for the nuptials. Well, let's all go home and meet the bride. Well, don't you want to be there?
Oh, more than anything else in the world, dear, but I'd better stay here and work. After all, I have Claude's wedding to pay for, and soon there'll be other little mouths to feed.
Oh, yes. Isn't that a thrilling thought? Milburn, people won't call me a grandmother, will they?
Oh, of course not. dear, of course not. I'll call you a nut.
Pardon, messieurs. Est-ce que c'est la maison de Madame Drysdale?
Excuse me, ma'am, but I didn't quite get what you said there.
Is this the Drysdale home?
Oh, no, ma'am. Drysdale Place is next one over yonder.
Yonder?
Behind them tall trees there. Come this way and I'll show it to you. Now, sight twixt them first and second trees there, you catch a glimpse of the Drysdale house. See?
Ah, oui.
Now, you come might further, you can see more of it.
Vous êtes très aimable, monsieur. Je suis votre débiteuse.
No offense, ma'am, but you're kind of hard to understand. Where about you from?
Je ne vous comprends pas.
Oh, well, I bet you it's a nice place.
Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.
Yeah, well, thank you. Same to you and many more of them. Mighty handsome-looking woman. Smelled pretty, too, didn't she, Duke? Duke? Where'd you go, Duke?
Granny. Granny. Yeah, Pearl.
Do you know who's got a secret sweetheart?
No, Pearl. But hum it for me. I'll pick it up.
It ain't a song, Granny. It's Jen. She's got a lady friend, and she's pretty, too.
Well, the old rooster took my advice.
Hey, Granny, hey, Pearl, look at old Duke. He's got a new friend.
Well, by dingies, they both took my advice. I reckon maybe I'll take it next myself.
Paul, have you seen Duke's new friend, Cotton Patch?
Well, no, I ain't. Come on up here and let's take a look at you.
She pretty? I named her Cotton Patch because her hair grows in clumps.
I reckon it was clipped that way, Ellie Mae, but the fella that done it must have had the clippers in one hand and a jug in the other. He missed the biggest part of her.
Old Duke sure has took a fancy to her. He dug up 4 of his best bones and give them to her.
She done a lot for Duke, too. Before she come along, Duke was feeling lower in a snake's belly in a wagon rut, but look at him now.
Yeah. Oh, look at this here collar that Cotton Patch was a-wearing. I was afraid she'd catch it in the bushes running after Duke, so I took it off.
Ain't that fancy. Duke, are you sure you ain't after that girl just for her money?
Reckon them's diamonds, Paul?
Might could be. Ellie Mae, this dog belongs to somebody. Somebody that sets great store by her, too. Folks don't just get...
Quel homme merveilleux! Vous avez trouvé mon chien bien aimé.
I reckon this must be the party that owns Cotton Patch. I'll put her in the car for you, ma'am. There you are, ma'am.
Pearl Bodine, shame on you. You gonna spy on your own cousin? I sure am.
Me too. Oh, monsieur, je ne sais pas comment vous remercier, mais peut-être que ça vous démontre mes vrais sentiments.
Say, ma'am, here's something I reckon you'd like to have.
Oh, monsieur, je vous remercie encore une fois, 1000 fois merci. Merci, mon ami.
See what he give her? A diamond choker. Yeah, must have cost old Jet a fortune. Here we go.
shining.
Hey, Granny.
Yeah, Pearl.
Up and you had a beau driving up in a fancy car and a hugging and a kissing you. Wouldn't you want your kinfolk to meet that beau?
I sure would, Pearl. Especially if I was giving that beau expensive presents.
You mean like a diamond choker?
That's what I mean.
You know, I hear tell that French women is real fond of jewelry.
If you two are trying to make something out of what just happened outside, you can leave off before you get started. All I was doing was returning that lady's dog, and that diamond choker was the dog's collar.
Here we are, the bridal suite. I do hope you like it.
This is such a beautiful moment. I just know I'm going to cry. Come, Claude, you handsome groom. Your lovely bride is waiting.
It's that horrible hillbilly bee.
Jay, came home quick as I could. We going hunting now?
You go, Jethro. I don't feel much like hunting.
But that's why you said you wanted to go. You said you and old Duke was feeling all dragged out and ornery, and you wanted to go hunting to get your blood to stirring. That's what you're saying.
Well, I ain't saying it now. Why don't you go ahead without me?
But I don't need to go hunting to stir my blood. It's already stirring.
Well, stir it some more.
You keep turning away from me, Uncle Jay. Done shaved. Hey, Ma, Granny, Ellie Mae, come see Uncle Jed shaved in the middle of the day.
Oh, hush. Ain't you never seen a man with a shave before?
Not you. Not unless there's a wedding or a funeral to go to. Hey, look yonder at Uncle Jed.
Great clouds of buggy dust.
He's got pulled off his stubble.
Trimmed his mustache.
In the middle of the day.
Tarnation.
Oh, you're pretty.
Ain't it stylish?
It's got smellum on it.
Things have come to a sorry state when a man can't shave his face and comb his hair without his family cackling like a bunch of chickens at a new worm.
Why, Cousin Jed, that ain't a nice thing to call your sweetie.
Jed got a sweetie?
City woman. Talks foreign. Drives a sporty car.
Dresses to the teeth.
Wears jewelry.
Given to her by your Uncle Romeo. I mean, Jed.
Diggity.
Oh, am I gonna have a new mom?
Oh, you ain't. I ain't gonna listen to more of this nonsense talk. Howdy, ladies.
Mademoiselle Denise, Monsieur Clampetts.
Nous nous connaissons.
Oh, you two have met.
Yes, ma'am.
Mais Monsieur Clampetts a changé.
She says you look different.
Oh, shucks, just 'cause I mowed off my whiskers and combed my hair.
Very becoming. Oh, will you keep Duke here? He's upsetting the wedding ceremony at the Drysdales.
It ain't her to get married, is it?
Oh, no, indeed.
Monsieur, je vous préfère comme vous êtes. Sans base.
We have to hurry. Now, you will keep Duke here.
Yes, ma'am.
Monsieur Clampett garderait le chien ici.
Ah, vous êtes toujours si aimable et obligeant.
Mademoiselle Denise is calming the bride's nerves. They'll be right in.
Good, good. This delay is so difficult for Claude.
I hope he doesn't get one of his migraines.
Well, the perfume.
I want to eradicate every vestige of that horrid beast from next door. Claude must never know.
What in the name of FHA is this?
You've come for the ceremony.
No, I've come for my secretary. Margaret, this used to be my den. And there's where my TV set was.
And now it's a love nest for Claude and his beautiful bride. Milburn, doesn't it thrill you?
Can hardly stand it.
Oh! This is Mademoiselle Denise. And this is my...
Yes, we've met. Come on, Miss Hathaway, let's get back to the bank.
Oh, no, dear. Claude is about to meet his new bride. Would you like to give her away?
Can I give them both away?
Oh, dear boy. Darling, you bring Claude in. He'll feel more secure with his daddums at his side.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça?
Oh, the dog next... Le chien de nos voisins, Duke.
I'll close the window so that... Oh, here's the handsome groom. This is a magic moment. Oh, what a cruel blow. Quick, Milburn, call a psychiatrist.
Yours or his?
Is we going hunting or are you going courting?
You talking about I ain't going courting?
Then we's going hunting.
George, I didn't want to go hunting. Now, you go yourself and take Duke with you.
Duke don't want to go hunting. Well, he's outside right now, frisking around with that there white dog that Ellie Mae calls Cotton Patch.
She there?
She sure is. Old Duke's happier than a cat at a fish fry. He's running and jumping and just playing around and... What are you holding under the table, Uncle Jay?
None of your business. Now, get out.
You're polishing your shoes. Hey, Ma! Granny, Ellie Mae! Uncle Jim's polishing his shoes and it ain't even Sunday.
You do make more racket than a jackass in a tin barn. Well, this is the nosiest family a man was ever burdened with.
Well, look at them shoes. All fresh oiled.
Fancy new laces, too. And them's his best socks.
And it ain't even Sunday.
Son, every day's Sunday when you're in love.
Now that takes a rag off in the bush. I ain't in love, and I just oiled my shoes because they were squeaking.
They been squeaking for 15 years, as I remember. You ain't never oiled them.
Young'uns, you go and get outside. Granny and me's got some grown-up things to say.
I ain't gonna listen to no more fools.
Now, Jed, you hadn't ought to fight against romance. You're still young and good-looking.
And you're rich, too.
Yeah. And with that, you don't need young and good-looking.
That reminds me. I dug something out of the mothballs for you. Your necktie and your derby that you wore when you came a-courting Rose Ellen, all duded up and stepping out like a chicken in high oats.
I got something for you, too, Jed. How boiled and starched your fancy cotton shirt.
I'm gonna put this stuff back where it belongs, and I don't want to hear no more words about romance.
Where you going?
I'm going out and dig myself a root cellar and crawl in and lock it so I can get a little peace and quiet.
What you say, Mrs. Drysdale?
I said Claude's honor has been besmirched, and I demand satisfaction. Poor Claude is in a state of shock. Now I demand that Claude's bride be returned immediately.
Yes, ma'am. Ellie will bring her right over. Phew. Eddie, you better get that poodle over there fight. I sure will.
Hold on, Ellie Mae. I'm going to take that dog back to the Drysdales, and Duke, you're coming along.
What?
It seems to me that critters ought to have the same right as people to pick their own company. So we're going over there, and Cotton Patch, you can make up your mind who you want to court. Just like I made up mine.
Jed Clampett. I'd know you anywhere. Jed Clampett, just like Mother described you.
Your ma knows me?
Well, we live just beyond the ridge from you, back home.
Well, it's mighty nice to have somebody from back home drop in on us.
And it's mighty nice to feel the firm, friendly grip of a real mountain man again.
Come in, come in. Don't believe I caught your name.
Jones, Harry Jones.
There's an article here concerning a confidence man known to be operating in this area.
So?
His M.O., that is police vernacular for modus operandi, which in turn is Latin.
I know what modus operandi means. I watched Dragnet for 7 years.
Sorry, Chief. To continue, his M.O. is to prey upon rural types, especially those who have come into money, like the Clampetts. He's particularly
Let's see that. Harry Jones, alias Herbie Jones, alias Herbie Brown, alias Herbie Brower.
Came out to California and struck it rich, acquired a lot of property. But now my heart says, Herbie, boy, go back to the land of your childhood.
You said your name was Harry.
Oh, it is. Herbie's my second name, the one Mother always used to favor. Actually, when I think of that, I think of home and Mother.
Your mom passed on, has she?
Well, no, she's very, very sick. That's why I have to dispose of all my vast California holdings and hurry to her side. Now, Mr. Clampett, how would you like to buy the Hollywood Bowl?
Excuse me.
Where you going?
Well, I gotta go out and fetch Granny. She takes care of buying everything for the kitchen, like pots and pans and bowls.
No, Mr. Clampett. It's not that kind of a bowl. The Hollywood Bowl is a vast open-air amphitheater, seats 20,000 people.
What in the Sam Hill would I want with a place like that?
What? Well, do you know how much money the Hollywood Bowl took in last year?
Can't say as I do.
$4 million.
Is that a fact?
That's right.
$4 million?
Yes, sirree, Bob.
What the Sam Hill would I want with a place like that?
You mean $4 million doesn't interest you?
Well, not especially. I already got more than I need now.
Well, congratulations. You just passed the test.
What test?
I just wanted to see if you were still that sweet, honest, ungreedy man that my dear mother told me about.
Get Clampett on the phone.
As the bulletin says, he is particularly clever at selling public parks and monuments to these rural types. He convinces them that he's one of their own kind. Sorry, Chief, the line's busy.
Tell me, Mr. Clampett, what do you like to do? What I mean is, what are your favorite pastimes?
Well, I reckon hunting, fishing, whittling.
Well, then, the Hollywood Bowl is exactly what you need.
I don't quite follow what you mean.
Well, let's take whittling, for instance. You know there are 20,000 wooden benches in that place? And if you get tired of whittling, you just turn on the water, fill her up, throw in a few trout, and you've got the best doggone fishing hole you ever saw.
What about hunting?
Hunting? Why, in those hills surrounding the Hollywood Bowl, especially on Mulholland Drive, you'll find more wolves up there than you'll find in any place in this here country.
What do you know about that?
Ed, where are you?
We're in here, Granny.
Ed, can you get the top off of this? Oh, I didn't know we had company.
Mr. Jones, this here is,
Of course. Granny, I'd know that face anywhere.
Mr. Jones is from back home in our part of the country. His family used to live beyond the ridge from us.
Jones? Jones. I recollect a family of Joneses that lived beyond the ridge.
That must have been
They was horse thieves.
different Jones.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Yes, I remember Mother always used to say, we must be twice as good to make up for the bad Joneses.
Mr. Jones here is wanting me to buy the Hollywood Bowl off him.
Hollywood Bowl?
Hollywood Bowl?
And this must be the young lady I've heard so much about, the lovely Ellie Mae.
Me?
Well, the stories I've heard about you, my dear, don't do you justice. You have a much more mature beauty than I expected.
Me?
Why, you won't stay unmarried long in Beverly Hills, my dear. I'm surprised some handsome young movie star hasn't already claimed you for his very own.
Me? Mr. Jones. She.
I'm gonna tell him, Granny. Just let me take my time.
Now, Mr. Jones, this here is my cousin, Pearl Bodine.
I'm charmed to make your acquaintance, my dear. Miss Bodine.
It's Mrs.
But I'm a widow.
Pearl, you seem to know about Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, yeah, Dad, I heard about it. It's where they have all that open-air music and singing.
Pearl here is right gifted at singing and playing and yodeling.
Oh, Jed, I ain't neither.
You are so.
No, I ain't.
Why, you sure are.
I ain't.
Let her win, Jed. For once, she's right.
Mr. Clampett, if I may, as owner of Hollywood Bowl, I become an expert judge of musical talent. And I wonder if I might hear Mrs. Bodine perform.
Well, I could yodel for you.
Cut loose, Pearl.
Oli, oli, ooh, oli, oli, ooh, oli, oli, ooh.
Yeah, there's no question about it. That voice belongs in the open air. Theater. Where 20,000 people can listen and enjoy it.
20,000 people would pay to hear me?
Why, my dear, they would fight for the privilege.
How much you reckon they'd pay?
Oh, I'd say at rock-bottom prices, at least $5 a head.
20,000 at $5 a head?
That's $100,000 for only one night.
Jed, did you hear that?
I sure did, Pearl. Mr. Jones, looks like you got yourself a deal. Your troubles is over.
You mean it?
Yes, sir. With a moneymaker like Pearl singing and yodeling for you, you won't have to sell your Hollywood Bowl.
I won't.
Here you are, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, my dear. Hello? This is...
Hello? Did Mr. Jones call his lawyer yet?
Trying to get him now. Seems to have a little catch in his throat.
Pearl told us some news, Granny.
Ma's gonna sing in Hollywood Bowl, huh?
It ain't set for sure until he talks to his lawyer.
But you've got to find a way to get out of those contracts. This woman is a tremendous talent. Why, she's the greatest yodeler since Caruso. By George, I'm glad I'm selling the Hollywood Bowl. When a woman with the talent of Pearl Bodine can't play in my theater, then I'm through, you hear me? Through!
I ain't gonna sing in Hollywood Bowl, Mr. Jones.
We're booked solid, my dear, and I just got to honor those contracts. But if someone else was to buy the Hollywood Bowl, he could make new deals. He could put in anybody he wants.
Jed, it wouldn't do no harm to go look at the place, would it?
Oh, I don't reckon there'd be no harm in that.
I'm gonna throw in all these buildings as part of the deal. Won't cost you a cent. Now, you'll notice the trees are all in A1 condition. Solid wood, every one of them, and loaded with sap, too. Now, this here is the famous traveling sidewalk. Takes you right up the hill with no effort on your part. Just stand still and ride. Gives you a beautiful view of Hollywood Bowl. Now, isn't this wonderful? Saves wear and tear on the shoe leather. And this is just one of the features of this wonderful investment you're making, Mr. Clampett. Come right along with old Honest Hank.
Well, what do you think of that, Granny?
Just like city folks, too darn lazy to even walk.
Say, incidentally, if you folks buy this here bowl, I'm going to throw in that traveling sidewalk absolutely free of charge.
Ain't he a nice man?
Well, Mr. Jones, you sure have took nice care of this place.
Well, thank you, Mr. Clampett. Something my mother taught me. Never sell anything that isn't perfect, son. Especially if you sell it to a friend.
Where's all them seats you was talking about?
Oh, there's over here. But I think the best way to see them is from the stage. Why don't you all just follow me? Well, there are your 20,000 seats.
Land of mercy.
What do you think of that, Granny?
Sure would hate to whitewash all them benches.
Hey, Pearl, this will sure be a dandy place for yodeling.
Never seen nothing better. Jethro,
You run up to them top seats way up yonder and see can you hear me when I cut loose.
Okay, Ma.
You know, he ain't gonna jump off that stage here. There's a 10-foot drop and then water.
Wish to Pete, Jethro.
Hey, Ma, when you sing and yodel here, be careful about stepping off this here ledge. There's an awful deep puddle down there.
Jethro, why can't you watch where you're going?
Is he gonna be all right?
Yeah, that won't hurt Jethro none. His clothes will tighten up a little, but he'll dry out in no time.
Well, Mr. Clampetts, how do you like our bow?
Right nice, Mr. Jones.
There, by the way, I think it's time we dropped all these formalities. From here on in, why don't we just make it Jed and Henry?
I thought you said your name was Harry. Harry Herbert.
Yeah, it is. Harry Herbert Henry. H.H.H. Jones. My mother used to say, those 3 H's stand for honesty, humility, and honor. Why don't you just call me what everybody else does? Honest Hank.
That's a mighty dandy name, all right. One you can be proud of. Well, like I was starting to say, this is a mighty fine place here for whittling and yodeling, but I don't think it's any great shakes for hunting and fishing like you said it was.
You know something, Jed? You're absolutely right. Just goes to prove how long I've been away from the hills. But I got another piece of property not too far from here. It's the greatest spot for hunting you ever saw, full of animals. And I'm gonna sell it to you dirt cheap. It's called Griffith Park. Yeah, named after my dear old mother.
That's a mighty pretty name for a woman, Griffith Park. Unusual.
Jed, why don't we take a run over there and have a look around?
Well, that sounds like a mighty fine idea. Granny, Ellie Mae, Earl, we're all going over and looking at a piece of hunting property Mr. Jones has got.
Hank. Honest Hank.
Her looks like somebody's thrown a spell on her. Yeah, she acts like she's in some kind of a trance or something.
Pearl. Pearl?
Ain't Pearl? Pearl?
Pearl! Pearl!
Pearl. Pearl?
Ain't Pearl? Pearl?
I was daydreaming.
We's all going over to look at another place called Griffith Park.
Does that mean you've decided against this one?
No, I ain't decided nothing yet, Pearl. Come on, everybody, let's go.
Ain't this beautiful? Just like back home.
Ain't smelt piney woods like that since we left home.
Uncle Jed, you just gotta buy this. Well, we can build us a cabin in here and come hunting all the time.
Ain't gonna shoot at my critters, are you?
When you go hunting, Ellie, you gotta have something to shoot at.
You leave my critters be.
Ellie Mae, turn him loose.
Oh, if he hurts every one of my critters, I'll hit him on the jaw so hard he'll be able to look down his back and without even turning his head.
Now, Ellie Mae, ain't nobody gonna do nothing to nobody. Or their critters. Besides, they ain't ours yet. We ain't bought the place.
How much you asking for this here Griffith Park, Mr. Jones?
Hank, Pearl. Call me Hank.
All right, Hank. Never mind holding hand, Granny. Earl, that's a sure trick of a crooked horse trader. So you won't look too close at the horse or listen too close to the price. How much y'all want for this here Griffith Park, Hank, honey?
Not a sign of anybody inside the house.
Nor outside.
Oh, well, we're probably worried about nothing. You know, the odds are 1,000 to 1 against this confidence man singling out the Clampetts, and even greater against them falling for it.
You know, Chief, according to the circular, one of his favorite schemes is selling Hollywood Bowl.
Isn't that a wild one? Can you imagine anyone ignorant enough to actually...
Hollywood Bowl?
And hurry.
Yes.
Well, Jed, you old hound dog, what do you think of my collection of critters?
I ain't never seen nothing like it in all my born days. Granny, how about that?
If that don't beat all, a jackass with stripes.
Granny, you ain't seen nothing yet. They even got bobcats with stripes. But them rascals is so high and as long as from here that post.
Yeah, they's what they call tigers. Cost me a heap of money, bring them all the way from India.
Mr. Jones, you ought to be ashamed. Putting all them critters in cages and pens. Don't you know critters like to be turned loose?
Now, you simmer down, Ellie. The only reason I put them in pens and cages so your pa could look them over, see what he's buying. I didn't want to have him go traipsing all through the brush.
Very nice of a minute, Ellie Mae.
Well, I reckon. But turn them loose quick as you can.
Yeah, I will, Ellie. That's a wonderful girl you got there. As a matter of fact, you got a wonderful family. My kind of people, his mother would say.
Has anybody seen Jethro?
Jethro?
It's awful hard to keep track of him amongst all these animals. I didn't mean that the way it sounded. Of course, Jethro's a good-looking boy.
Well, why shouldn't he be? His mother's so beautiful.
Well, I'll be doggone. Ain't they funny-looking little fellers? Yeah, I don't blame you for staring. I told Ma I looked funny in a necktie.
Ed, that wild daughter of yours has jumped in with them bars. I seen her. She's in there with them big varmints coming on quick.
Sure have been a hankering to meet up with you fellas. But Pa says when his pa was a boy, there's lots of you fellas in the hills back home. But by the time I come along, you'd all gone away. Sure do like you. You're so nice and soft and furry. You're friendly, too. When my pa buys this here Griffith Park, I'll take you home with me. There's a heap more room there to roam around than you got here. There's some nice big trees for you and me to climb.
Oh, I can't look. One hug from those powerful arms could kill you.
Don't squeeze too hard, Ellie Mae. Mr. Jones is worried you might hurt his buyer.
Get that pile of junk off the freeway!
Damn it, I wish I'd have brought my shotgun. They wouldn't talk back to us that way.
Driver, this road sure ain't very polite.
They's downright mean a honking and a yelling like they.
They had ought to be taught to drive with what you call courtesy. That means good manners.
You got a wonderful idea there, young fella. And your Uncle Jed is just the man who could do it.
Me? How?
Well, if you owned this road, people would have to drive like you say.
Is it for sale?
Well, it wasn't, but I've decided to make you a package deal. I'm going to sell you Griffith Park, the Hollywood Bowl, and the freeway that connects them.
Tell you what, you come on home for supper with us and we talk it out.
Jethro, you stop at the Hollywood Bowl. I want to take another look at where I'm going to be performing.
Okay, Ma.
Jed, you and Mr. Jones go on inside and talk out your business. Jethro and Ellie Mae and me will be back directly.
Well, where are you going, Granny?
I'll tell you later. Jethro, drive around the back. We got a few things to pick up.
Wonderful little woman. Reminds me for all the world of my sweet little, gentle, gray-haired old mother.
You heard me. I said if I let you use our freeway, do you promise to drive with... What is it again, Jethro?
Courtesy.
Yes. That means being polite to other folks driving and not speeding or honking or yelling at them.
We're cutting in and out of lanes. Over at school, they told us that causes accidents.
Well, speak up. Do you promise?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Get back in your car and pass through.
Next!
Mr. Clampett, I hope we're not too late.
We'd have been here sooner, but we had to avoid the freeway. There's an unbelievable jam-up.
That Mr. Jones is a crook. I hope you didn't give him no money.
Ah, Pearl, I didn't give him no money.
Well, where is he?
Inside. And you know something? He ain't no mountain man. He can't hold his liquor worth shucks.
Mr. Clampett, how would you like to buy the city of San Francisco?
See what I mean? And he didn't have no more than half a jug.
Come on, little Jethro. Drink it up.
No sassafras, no snakewort, no puccoon root, nor wretchweed. How do folks live in these Beverly Hills without the necessities of life?
What I got, Granny?
Ellie Mae Clampett, did you drag home another pussy cat?
No, babe, this year's a special one. I've been helping the critter doctor over to the zoo, and he let me bring this here one home because its ma was being mean to it.
Husky little critter. Ought to be a good mouse catcher when he gets growed.
You can't keep him that long. Why, the critter doctor said he gets to be 8 or 10 feet long. He's a lion.
He sure is. Even a bobcat don't get that big. Any luck?
Ah, there ain't nothing to shoot up in these hills.
Few scrawny squirrels and rabbits, it ain't worth a cartridge.
Aye, dingies, let's all go home where I can find some yarbs and you can find some game.
Yeah. Ma's been wanting to go back and see Jeffrey. Hey, let's all go together.
You bring the truck around, Jethro, and I'll pack a lunch and we can get started.
Ah, hold on just a minute. That may be all right for Pearl, but that's a mighty long trip to take just to hunt yarbs and do a little shooting. Besides, you got school, Jethro.
And I can't go and leave little Jethro.
Hey, look yonder.
This here's a lion.
And you named him after Jethro.
Yeah, 'cause he's king of the beast, aren't you?
Ah, 'cause he eats so much and his feet so big.
Your feet ain't big.
What you talking about, boy? When you was 12, your feet were so big you used to have to go down to the crossroads to turn around.
Come on, everybody, let's go home where we can find some yarbs and get some fresh game meat.
I'll get the truck.
Ah, hold on.
Oh, Uncle Jed, if we don't do us some shooting, we ain't gonna be able to bark a squirrel out of a tall tree at 300 yards.
I know we's getting mighty rusty. I tell you what, you grab a handful of matches, we'll stick them in the ground alongside that wall out front, we sit on the porch, and we'll take turns lighting them with our rifles.
Oh, shucks. But that ain't shooting. Well, that wall ain't no more than 200 or 300 feet from the porch.
I know it ain't real shooting. I tell you what, we won't take dead aim, we'll snap shoot them.
Why don't y'all shoot skeets like Mr. Drysdale?
What's skeets?
He told me about them. Them's clay birds.
Well, if you two go to shooting clay birds, don't expect me to cook them.
Any statement about tomorrow's match, gentlemen?
Yes.
Oh,
I want to tell you.
gentlemen, if you please, I should like to read Mr. Drysdale's prepared statement. Win or lose, may the spirit of fair play and good sportsmanship, which so symbolizes the Commerce Bank, the friendly bank of Beverly Hills, prevail in this great competition.
Oh, baloney. I'll give you a statement. My bank's going to shoot the pants off of his bank and win this trophy back permanently.
I shall begin again. Win or lose, may the spirit of fair play and good sportsmanship,
baloney.
which so...
Now, listen, Hacker. Your bank hasn't won in 2 years. Not since Lynn Crandall became my vice president and teammate. And furthermore,
I've got a little surprise for you this year, Drysdale. I've got a new cashier that can outshoot Davy Crockett.
You'll have to go some to outshoot Hawkeye Crandall.
You said it. Why, Hawkeye Crandall...
Hawkeye Crandall, my Aunt Nellie. When you see Gene Sandbloom handle one of these things.
Wave that in my face, Hacker.
Chief, it's Vice President Crandall calling from the hospital.
Hospital? Hawkeye?
Yes, he was crossing the street and he didn't see a fire truck coming.
Hawkeye, how bad are you hurt? Both legs broken? Right arm? 3 ribs. Well, we got until tomorrow morning. Try to make it. What else can happen to me today? The skeet championship out the window, and now those crazy Clampetts are shooting at passing cars.
Surely your wife's exaggerating, Chief. The Clampetts wouldn't do anything that foolhardy.
No? Well, just in case they would. Isn't that their driveway up ahead?
Yes.
Let me know when we're safely in.
Hi there, Miss Hathaway. Mr. Drysdale. Nice to see you.
Mr. Clampett, what are you shooting at?
Flies?
Flies? With a rifle?
Up against the front wall there, just to the right of the gate.
You mean to tell me you shoot flies sitting on that wall out there?
Oh, no, that wouldn't be sporting. We get him on the wing.
Possible.
Oh, no, it ain't, Mr. Drysdale. Oh, we just smear a little sorghum on the wall and get them when they buzz in for a landing.
The trick is not to get a bee. If you shoot a bee, you miss your turn.
Sometimes when they come in fast out of the sun, it's hard to tell them apart.
I can't even see the sorghum.
Neither can I.
Oh, Uncle Jed ain't missed one yet. Well, back home, they called him Hawkeye.
Did you say Hawkeye?
Oh, you know how folks hang a nickname on you.
Miss Hathaway, the trophy may not be lost.
The Chief, he has to be an employee of the bank.
Meet Mr. J.D. Clampett, my new vice president. Welcome aboard, Hawkeye. Now, will you stop worrying? Jed Clampett is a vice president in name only. He won't come near the bank.
How can you be sure?
Because I told Jethro to take him out to the skeet club. I'll meet him there, and we'll practice for the rest of the afternoon. And the skeet match is tomorrow morning, and this beauty will be mine, mine, mine.
Chief, haven't you heard the expression, it's not that you win or lose, but how you played the game?
Oh, yes, I've heard it. And I consider it one of the most ridiculous statements ever made.
Suppose Hacker hears about your new teammate and comes around to meet him?
Say, that is a good thought. All right, have a nameplate made, put it on Crandall's desk. J.D. Clampett, vice president. Then alert everyone to say he's out for the balance of the day.
Mr. Drysdale, I have always been a loyal secretary, but there are some things my conscience will not permit me to do.
And break in a new secretary.
That is one of them.
Come on, Jethro. It's time I was getting down to the bank.
Jed, what is all this nonsense about you working for Mr. Drysdale? You don't know nothing about banking.
Well, that's what I said, Granny. You know what he said?
What?
He said, Mr. Clampett, you are the kind of man I need for vice president because you are a straight shooter.
Yeah? I reckon there's always need of a good, honest man.
Especially in the banking business. Come on, Jethro.
Uncle Jed, Mr. Drysdale said I was to take you out to the skeet shooting range. He said you don't have to come to the bank today.
Yeah, I know, Jethro. I reckon he's just trying to be nice. Because with his other vice president in the hospital, I don't see what help I could be to him shooting skeet.
Oh, shucks. I was counting on shooting some of them clay birds.
Well, go right ahead, Jethro, and take your ma if she'd like to go.
Pearl don't care nothing about shooting. But I sure would like to get my old double barrel unlimbered. It's getting rusty, and so am I.
Well, fine, Granny. And Ellie Mae can go, too, if she wants. Just drop me off at the bank on the way.
Is this satisfactory, Mr. Drysdale?
Oh, fine, fine. Put it on Crandall's desk back in the corner.
Mr. Hacker is back to see you, and the chairman of the Rules Committee is with him. I think they expect you to default the contest.
Ha, 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 ha. Just when I've got it won.
Mr. Drysdale, at the risk of incurring your disapproval, I owe it to my conscience to make the following statement, which I have typed out for your perusal. Honesty and integrity are the very cornerstones of the great institution of banking, and they are strengthened by the mortar of fair and democratic competition. This trophy is symbolic of that competition. It represents a glittering ideal, and I say to you, better defeat with honor than victory at the cost of a tarnished ideal.
Here, here, Mr. Drysdale. You are a credit to the entire banking profession. That is one of the most inspired statements that I have ever heard. And Hacker here thought that you'd default or ask for postponement merely because you'd lost your teammate. Hacker, read those words over and over. By George, they mean something.
Yeah, they mean he's found a crack shot.
Listen, may I have a copy of this?
Oh, certainly, Mr. Pendleton.
Mr. Hacker, it may interest you to know that the employee I have chosen to be my teammate has never in his entire life shot one single solitary claybird.
Bravo, bravo! What sportsmanship! What courage! What spirit!
What's his name? J.D. Clampetts, vice president?
What does the vice president do, Paul?
Yeah, I just ain't exactly sure, really, May. That's the reason I want to talk to Mr. Drysdale.
He might be out at the ski place waiting for you.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, you sure it's all right for us to go on out there without you, Jed?
Yeah, Mr. Drysdale says as long as I work at the bank, you can all use the skeet club.
Club? I thought you busted them things up with a gun.
Oh, you do, Granny. But that's just what they call a skeet shooting place.
Pull up in front of the bank, Jethro, and wait for me. I'll go and see if Mr. Drysdale's there.
I'd like to meet this vice president.
Well, he hasn't gotten to his desk yet. New man, just getting settled in.
But you've picked him to shoot with you, huh?
Well, as long as he's filling in for Crandall here at the bank, I figured the sporting thing would be to let him fill in at the skeet match.
Did you say he's never shot skeet?
My word of honor, this man has never set foot upon a skeet field.
Come in. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Drysdale. I was just wondering if...
Come in, come in.
Well, I don't want to butt in.
Oh, it's perfectly all right. These gentlemen were just leaving. Business before pleasure, gentlemen. Sit down, make yourself comfortable. See you in the morning, gentlemen.
There is the mark of true greatness, Hacker. Did you see the way he treated that seedy old tramp? Like he was a millionaire.
This is Crandall's skeet jacket. I don't know whether it'll fit you or not.
That's a mite snug, but I reckon it'll do.
You'd think bankers could afford new coats instead of covering them old ones with patches.
These are the targets we shoot at.
Ain't them dandy little dishes. Just right for saucer and coffee.
Why in tarnation do you want to shoot at a saucer like this? If you ain't careful, you'll bust them.
Whereabouts is the cups?
Oh, there aren't any cups.
See? You done busted them, didn't you?
No, Granny, we don't use cups, just these saucers. I mean, these targets. The object of the game is to hit them as they fly through the air.
I reckon I'd like to try that. Give me a gun, Jethro.
I'll handle the release switch, Chief.
All right if I try it without this little coat?
Oh, yes, Mr. Clampett. But I wouldn't suggest you trying it with the rifle, because when you yell pull, those targets are going to shoot out there at 60 miles an hour.
Pull!
Look.
Shot at it.
Sorry about that. I just meant to nick it so as you could use it again.
Well, Jed, from the looks of all them broken dishes out there, you ain't the first one that made a mistake.
No, Granny, you don't understand. You see, the object of the game is to break the target. But to do it with a rifle is absolutely remarkable.
Oh, shucks, that ain't nothing. A lot easier than shooting flies.
Can I try?
Yes, of course, but I think you better use the shotgun.
Oh, this here is Granny's. This here's the gun I'm used to.
Leader of my Jethro.
Okay, Uncle Jed. Pull! Pull! Pull!
Fantastic feat.
Yeah, they's big, all right, but they help them to stand steady.
Step aside, Jethro, and give me a whack at busting them things. Can you fling two at once?
Yes, but...
Fling! Fling two more, I got another barrel left.
I have never seen such marksmanship. Why, with any one of you as my teammate, I can win tomorrow.
I'll shoot with you, Mr. Drysdale.
I'll shoot with you, Mr. Drysdale.
Well, thank you, but you see, my teammate has to be someone who works at the bank. And since Mr. Clampett here just happens to be my vice president...
Sure was a stroke of luck for me to get that job just in time to shoot with you.
Almost as though it were planned.
Oily May, wouldn't you like to try to hit one of the targets?
Sure would.
Ah, which gun would you like to use?
Don't want no gun.
Billy May don't much cotton to fire on.
Don't tell me she's going to try to hit tough.
Pull!
Mr. Hacker, Mr. Clampett is out.
I can see that. I'll just sit down here and wait for him. Sooner or later, even vice presidents have to show up for work.
Sure, I've been thinking. With Mr. Drysdale and Miss Jean both gone, maybe they need me over to the bank.
Should have dropped you off there?
Yeah, I reckon you better. Here, Pearl knows how much to let this out for me. Yeah, I figure if I'm going to be any help to Mr. Drysdale, I better get at it. Well, howdy there. You waiting to see me?
Are you J.D. Clampett,
Sure am. Jed Clampett.
vice president of this bank?
That's what they tell me. You know, I just had a hunch to come in. I figured there might be something I could do to help.
I think there's a world of things you can do to help me, Mr. Clampett.
That's just dandy. I don't believe I caught your name.
Hacker. William Hacker. You call me Bill.
Well, howdy there, Bill. It sure is nice to make your acquaintance. Sit down, sit down. What can I do for you?
Well, to start off with, you can tell me how long you've been in the banking business.
Well, this here is my first day.
And already you're a vice president?
Well, that's the job I'm commencing with. And I want to tell you that Mr. Drysdale is as fine a man as you ever want to work for. Why, I ain't done nothing all day but shoot skeet.
I see. Tell me, do you shoot good skeet?
Well, I never tried for it today. Of course, it don't take much shooting to bust them great big saucers, especially if you got a good rifle.
You shoot skeet with a rifle?
Well, I admit it's kind of like shooting fish in a barrel. My daughter Ellie Mae does just as good with her slingshot.
That's very interesting. How did Mr. Drysdale happen to find you?
Oh, we was next-door neighbors.
Your next-door neighbor of Milburn, Drysdale? Up there in those exclusive estates?
Yep. Matter of fact, he got the place from me. You see, I come into a little money here a while back, 25 or 30 million.
Dollars?
And to show you what kind of a friend Mr. Drysdale is, he's keeping all that money right here in his bank, and he ain't charging me one penny to do it.
He's all heart, that fellow. All heart. Tell me, Mr. Clampett, how does it happen that you're vice president of this bank here?
Well, my nephew Jethro and me was out front of the... That's my cousin Pearl's boy. He was out there in front of the house shooting flies off the wall.
Excuse me, shooting flies?
Yes, sir.
With rifles?
Yes, sir.
How far away?
Oh, it was no more than a couple 100 feet. Well, lost him, Mr. Drysdale.
Can you win a round of skeet, Billy boy, Billy boy? Can you win a round of skeet, Billy Hacker? No, I cannot win a round from that new teammate you found. He's a crack shot and cannot miss the target.
I'd like to point out it is not too late to do the decent thing. Now, the bank's still open. Select an employee at random. Take me. We may lose, but we will lose with honor.
Here's the trophy mine for keeps, Billy boy.
And he says, well, say, speaking of Mr. Drysdale, here he comes.
Mr. Clampett, what are you doing here?
Where should a vice president be? Out shooting flies over his front wall?
Hacker, you sloop, get out of my bank.
Not until we first have a little meeting with Mr. Pendleton.
Mr. Drysdale, I am shocked, to say the least. Shocked and disillusioned.
I apologize, Mr. Pendleton. My desire to win momentarily overcame my sense of fair play. But I have a suggestion. Suppose I select at random an employee to be my teammate.
Now, that seems sporting, eh, Hacker?
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Well, I have a new young janitor. Not a very bright kid, but nice. Jethro Bodine.
Now, just a minute, Drysdale. Isn't he Clampetts' nephew, the one he shoots flies off the wall with?
Well, Drysdale, is this true?
Yes. Yes, it is true.
Miss Hathaway, I believe you're on overtime.
Right, Chief. Good night, gentlemen.
Now, I have a suggestion for you. I'll pick an employee of yours at random to be your teammate.
I consider that eminently fair. Agreed, Drysdale?
You mean to say that Pearl let this out and now he ain't a-gonna shoot?
I'm afraid Mr. Clampett is no longer employed here, ma'am.
I declare, look at the dust on that desk. Jed Clampett was taught to leave things clean. Fetch me a broom.
But, ma'am...
Fetch me a broom.
Yes, ma'am.
I declare, city living is spoiling the whole darn family.
I choose you. Let's see how Mr. Drysdale does with a scrub woman.
Bring!